Oh, it was brilliant. And I mean, I thought we could scrape a win, but I wasn't thinking anywhere near 6-2. I mean, that's a tennis match, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
I mean, we played unbelievable football, but I think we've got to look at it objectively as well. Most games we're not going to be able to score 6 goals. So if you're conceding 2 every week, that's not good. Um, but I mean, we've got so much firepower up front. You've got Palmer, you've got Madueke. Jackson, I mean, I've been speaking about getting a new striker. I
Hmm.
still believe that we need that because Jackson's great one week and then the next week he can be quite inconsistent.
Yeah.
I think Neto makes a massive difference for us. I
Yes.
mean, him and Mudryk are just two worlds apart. The runs that Neto makes, it's just totally different to what you see from Mudryk. I mean, I like him, but I don't know what it is. He just struggles to fit into this team, whether we're playing well or we're playing badly.
Mm.
Mudryk is the player that always seems to get just highlighted, and he got hooked at halftime. I felt for him, but I mean, Maresca just says it how it is. He says he needs to improve, and he's not wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And again, having Enzo, and I think most Chelsea fans have sort of worried a little bit about exactly finding that best position for Enzo, Alex, and what you're actually expecting from him. Do you want him playing in front of two central midfielders and roaming about and trying to get in the box? Do you want him being one of those two central midfielders, one that maybe releases himself and goes now and again? Where do you see the best position for him? Surely it's with Cole Palmer as the 10.
I have to disagree with that. I mean, I think a lot of Chelsea fans don't like Enzo playing in the 10 because you want Enzo to receive the ball and be able to look forward, not have the ball and his back turned, almost like a striker at times. So for me, I don't like Enzo in the 10. I don't think he's got enough pace to be able to make the runs. I don't think his shooting's good enough to be able to score goals. He's a very creative player. He knows how to pin a pass, but he's got to see what's in front of him. This is the dilemma, though. You've got Caicedo and you've got Lavia, both of which, in my opinion, are better sixes, and I think Caicedo is a better eight as well. So that leaves the question, where do you play Enzo? And every week he seems to play somewhere different, especially under Poch. There was games when he was playing on the wing. I remember when we drew to Brentford last season, and it's not Enzo's fault. He has so many good qualities, and this is why you have to try and squeeze him in anyway. But I play Lavia ahead of Enzo in the six. I try and fit Caicedo in there for defensive stability. You just try and fit him in because ultimately you've paid over 100 million for him. Maresca clearly likes him, which is understandable. He's a very good player on the ball, and he's a leader in the dressing room. So I think for those reasons you try and shimmy him inside. But actually, I don't look at Enzo Fernandez at this moment and say, right, this is the best midfielder I have in the squad. I almost think it's the opposite way around, where you've almost got a Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes scenario where you've got loads of good players, but
Mm.
you have to play one of them out of position.
I think you're absolutely spot on, and Andy was making the point. Andy's correct. Andy, I'm assuming, was thinking Palmer must start as a number 10. I
Yes,
don't
that's
get it.
what I meant, yeah.
Absolutely, Andy. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But Alex, I think you're spot on because I was critical, and I have been critical of Caicedo and Enzo last season because I think Chelsea. I'm looking for a little bit more for just short of £250 million, to be quite brutally honest with you, over it with the two players. And I think you've now got a little bit of a dilemma. Maresca has a little bit of a dilemma where it is, in fact, 2 out of 3. And I thought Lavia was one of the better players last week against City.
Yeah, and people are saying why are we taking Lavia off in certain games? I mean, now we know he's already had a hamstring problem,
Yeah.
so we've got to manage these players correctly. I mean, Caicedo needs all the help he can get in midfield, and Fernandez isn't one for doing the dirty work. So, I mean, we had Ugachukwu who's quite defensively sound. He's gone off to Southampton. There are other options. I think really it might just be a scenario where this season we need to be a little bit gung ho
Hmm.
because we're certainly not going to keep goals out. I mean, we've conceded 2 against, I think, quite a poor Wolves side. I mean, they've just lost their best player. They still play good football under Gary. Now, I do like them, but they just lack that quality for me. I think Fofana's not good enough. I don't understand why he's starting ahead of Tosin. Everyone looks at the price tag, but I saw Tosin on Thursday night. He was the only defender who looked half decent.
Hmm.
And then you've got Fofana, who for me just doesn't have the awareness in terms of his positional play. maybe he needs a little bit more time to settle in, right? It's not that he's a bad player, but it's a new system, and he's still really a new player in this Chelsea side. The same with Nkunku as well, Lavia. We've already had these guys for over a year, but really they feel like new signings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think, Andy and Alex? I think looking at, been a lot of talk last couple of weeks about perhaps Sterling and obviously Conor Gallagher and a lot of players maybe exiting and leaving the club. But what we've got to remember, and I think what we saw at the weekend, is Chelsea have some fantastic footballers as well. My only concern, Alex, long term, will they have the consistency?
But consistency in what? In terms of winning games?
Yes.
That's the question then, isn't it? I mean, I think it comes down to defense ultimately. We're not going to struggle scoring. And then you say, well, let's find a centre back. Let's find a proven centre back, maybe even English. Perhaps he's won some trophies. Oh, hang on a second. You've already got him. You're just not playing him. We've got Chalobah right there, and we're just not doing anything about it. So for me, that is ridiculous. I mean, I'm all for the process. People take the mickey out of me. They go, hang on, Alex, you're a brown envelope. You don't want to criticize the ownership. They absolutely deserve to be criticized at the right moments. And the Chalobah situation is ridiculous. But having said that, if you actually look at what we've built in terms of an attacking lineup, I mean, this is a very, very competitive squad. But I mean, I remember Liverpool when Klopp came in before they signed Van Dijk, before they signed Alisson, they were scoring goals for fun, but they couldn't keep it out of the back of the net, and that was the real change for them when they could sort out the defense. And I think that would be similar for us. I mean, we look at Sanchez as well. I think he's a good goalkeeper. He actually did help us out. I mean, Palmer's goal actually came from a goal kick that was taken quickly by Robert Sanchez. And this is something that I've criticised many goalkeepers for. Sometimes you get the ball and you just say, release it. There's players making runs. It's so frustrating when goalkeepers don't see what's in front of them. And I think Sanchez is great in that sense, but he does it every week. And sometimes he doesn't look where he's putting the ball. I mean, the second goal we conceded against City was because Sanchez released the ball too early. This week it was in our favour. What's going to happen next week? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out what's going to happen next week, Alex. But the one thing we can agree on, it's been a far, far better weekend for your team, Chelsea, with a great result tomorrow. You. Thanks for joining us this morning,
Thanks,
Alex.
Thank you very much.
We'll speak again soon. Thanks for your time, Paul.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.